Am I the asshole for telling my autistic brother to quit correcting me? Hi, I'm using an old throwaway axe for this because I am really unsure how people will react and would not like to deal with potentially strong negative reactions for any longer than a few days. I'll have this axe open for the next few days to answer questions or reply to comments. Hope y'all understand. Anyways, I, 23F, have a bachelor's degree in psychology. Psychology also happens to be my autistic brother's 14-meet special interest. I was visiting my family this past week, and my brother and I have been chatting about interesting psychology things a lot. However, he likes to use social media as his prime source of information, which is fine as long as you do more research before believing and repeating things. But he tends to just believe anything he hears without fact-checking, especially if it's something that intrigues him. So it happened multiple times where he'd throw me a fun fact that was false, or he'd correct me on something I was telling him about with misinformation. And I'd always been super gentle, correcting him and reminding him to double-check his information. Even though I did find it quite annoying, I never was harsh with him. But last night at the dinner table we were talking about the structures of the brain, how psychology and medical things overlap. The conversation was mainly between my mother and I, as she's a doctor and could speak for the medical part of this, while my brother was just tuning in. We were talking about strokes and how it affects the brain. I began explaining to my father about the left and right brain and how they control opposite sides of the body when my brother stopped me to say that I was wrong and that it's the opposite way. I once again gently corrected him, but he was insistent that he was correct. I reminded him that I was the one with the degree in this topic, and he dropped it. Later after dinner, my parents, brother, and I were in the living room watching a movie that was on TV. During one of the commercial breaks, my brother brought up the left and right brain thing again, going on about how I was supposedly incorrect. I was really just done with the topic and was getting a little tired of being constantly corrected with misinformation. And I do not think I said this in any aggressive or rude way, but my exact words to him were, "I'd really appreciate if you'd quit correcting me when you're incorrect. Your source of information is random people on the internet. My sources are textbooks, experimental documentation, and the DSM-5. My brother had then stormed off to his room upset by what I had said, and my mother had told me I should have just let him have his way because he's autistic and just a kid. And in no way was I trying to attack my brother or be selfish and full of myself. I genuinely just wanted him to have the correct information, but the constant correcting began